Robert Breedlove invited me onto his show, What is Money?
Hmm.
And I thought, wow, we're going to talk about what is money. So I guess I better figure it out. And so then I started to think. And now I think it's helpful if you adopt these kind of definitions, noting that we're so early in this journey that 95% of the world hasn't thought deeply about it, and
Hmm.
probably they would probably use these words or terms differently, and many people, even economists and business people, don't really know what money is, or they just define it sloppily in the context. So here's what I think are the useful definitions, and then we can have a discussion. I think money is economic energy.
Hmm.
If you have a certain amount of economic energy, let's say you have $100,000 of economic energy in the year 2022, that can be exchanged for products or services or property. Right? I can fly somewhere. I can buy something. I can, you know, throw a party in the year 2022. Clearly $100,000 worth of money in 2022 doesn't buy you the same goods, services, or products in the year 1900. It would buy you a lot
Hmm.
more.
Hmm.
And in the year 2200, won't buy you the same thing either. So, so you have a certain amount of money at a certain time that you can measure in a currency. The currency, in this case, the US dollar, is the medium of exchange in that political frame of reference at the time you have the money. So, if money is economic energy, what happens as you change political frames of reference? $100,000 buys you a certain amount in the US. And if you go to Japan, well, it doesn't buy you anything because they don't accept dollars for
Hmm.
restaurants. You can't buy a house in dollars. You have to convert it to yen. So you would convert that amount of money from the dollar currency into the yen currency. If you trip through 180 countries, you would have to convert it generally into the currency that's the medium of exchange and the legal tender in the country. Since most countries have a different legal currency. Some countries, like in Europe, share a similar one, the euro. So money is economic energy. The currency is the medium of exchange, or it is an asset legally designated by a nation state as an acceptable medium of exchange, and it's given a legal advantage, a political advantage, because you can transfer it tax free. So if I have $100,000 and I want uh, to buy an expensive car with it, right? I can exchange the 100,000 of money via the currency into the car without paying a capital gains tax, and without incurring a capital gain loss on the transaction. Um, if I had a bunch of Apple stock, $100,000 worth of Apple stock, I would have an asset. Actually, you could, in fact, a batch of securities worth $100,000. But if I bought the car with $100,000 of Apple stock, and I had acquired the Apple stock for $50,000, I would actually get the car and I get a tax bill for the capital gains on $50,000, right? That's what the nation state says. So for that reason, Apple stock or a bunch of securities don't make good medium of exchange,
Hmm.
right? Even if it was liquid, right? It's not a good medium of exchange because my credit card, doesn't work so well with Apple stock, and because I can't transfer Apple stock on a Saturday afternoon. And those are reasons why I wouldn't use it in order to buy a car. But the most important reason that securities will never be currency is because it's deemed as, we'll call it property by the IRS, and subject to a capital gains tax. So the currency in the modern world is whatever the government says it is. If you're in a state of anarchy, right, or chaos, let's say you're in a war zone. You're in Afghanistan after the government fell, right? While the Americans were pulling out, all the banks failed, right? Clearly, it's not. There's no effective government to designate a local Afghan fiat currency. There's no government to impose taxes, right? That's anarchy. In that particular case, if you happen to be an Afghan citizen and you're doing a trade with another Afghan citizen, you want to buy whatever they've got, their car, right, their food, you could use Bitcoin as a currency, and it would be a currency because there's no government to tell you that you can't use it as a currency.
In that case, you could use goats, right? You could use basically anything.
Yeah, you could use gold. You could use bullets.
I was saying
You
goats
could.
because that's
Yeah,
more
I got it.
likely,
I got
right?
it. You could barter whatever you wanted,
Yeah.
right? But the reason that anything is currency is because there's not an effective nation state.